rest, that could change.
Duke in the white uniforms to start.
Boy, these two teams match up perfectly man-to-man.
You love all 5 of the matchups.
Oh, yeah. Every matchup is critical and important. And there's a foul on Nazr Mohammed. Now, one of the big advantages that Kentucky has is they really have 2 postmen defensively with size. Nazr Mohammed, of course, and Jamal McGlure can come in for him. And they basically balance out the 40 minutes in playing time. So there is an advantage Kentucky in that regard.
Brand, a freshman from Peekskill, New York. Pulled down a career-high 14 rebounds in the win over Syracuse on Friday night.
It's a miraculous thing that this young man missed 15 basketball games, carrying 260 pounds, came back actually weighing less, in an excellent condition, and has really played well. Nobody expected he'd even be back this year.
First time in the tournament, Kentucky has trailed after wins over South Carolina State, St. Louis, and UCLA. Edwards short on the 3. Langdon comes out of the pack. Be key to see him hit a shot early.
Wow.
Wojo, long range 3, 5-0 Duke.
When is the last time you've seen Wojo looking for his jump shot 4 feet beyond the three-point line at the start of a basketball game? I don't know if I've ever seen him do that.
Over the top, Mohammed with position for Kentucky's first basket.
Situation right there, well set up by Tubby Smith. No weak side help for the lob.
Here comes the full court pressure. What do you expect out of this today, Billy?
Well, I think that they will, and this is kind of interesting. We find a situation where Wojo has been taking away from the basketball. Carrawell, who's pretty good at bringing up the ball, although he doesn't do it often.
Langdon, his first shot, drops.
You don't know the sigh of relief on that bench. Every single player stood up. They want to see him hit often and early.
That was a 3-point goal, 8-2 Duke.
Switching out front by Duke. Sheppard a lot bigger than Wojo. He can go right over him.
Just shoot over him. And Carrawell skies for the rebound. Carrawell became a starter here in the tournament. Had started 6 games during the middle of the season. Back in the starting lineup for Radford in round 1 and has stayed there. McLeod, their leading scorer. Way off the mark. Out to Sheppard.
There's Padgett, who plays a little bit bigger than McLeod's used to seeing guarding him. Padgett about 6'9".
And away from the ball, Brand a little too cozy with Nazr Mohammed, and both centers now with 1 foul apiece.
Jim, he was all right until he grabbed the shirt, which basically is an intentional foul, but obviously not called that way early in the game. There's going to be a lot of pushing inside. See how close they call that post defense.
Padgett over McLeod, and McLeod retrieves.
Good job by McLeod to put a body on the shooter on the way down so that he had inside position for the rebound.
Carrawell challenging Edwards.
Surprised that Duke is relying on this jump shot early. They get a foul on Nazr Mohammed early. They should go into Brand.
Edwards 3 at the other end. Allen Edwards having a big NCAA tournament.
Now here we see Trajan Langdon bring it up. So you really have 3 guys in the backcourt can bring the ball up the court. The one thing Duke is not doing is attacking against the press.
Langdon again from the wing.
Sheppard lost his man. Trajan Langdon wide open for the jumper.
McLeod takes it to the paint to Carrawell, banks it home.
Good interior passing by McLeod. That bounce pass, Jim, is so valuable down inside the lane.
10-5 Devils. These 2 teams with extraordinarily deep benches. No subs to this point. Turner, Sheppard tips, and Mohammed finds the goal.
Good long reach by Mohammed. College basketball's most improved player. Was on the JV team 2 years ago. Imagine that.
Reach in on Edwards. We're going to see a lot of bench play here today, Billy. And, well, Mohammed, just a moment ago.
You can see Brand gets out of position on that rebound, has no chance to put a body on him. The great hands of Nazr Mohammed put it back in. Had 6 huge blocks against UCLA in the ball game on Friday.
And his backup, McGlure, added 6 of his own. Shane Battier will be checking in on the next whistle, the first sub of the game. Brand, pump fake with Mohammed on his back.
It's a dangerous play for Mohammed to reach his hand, and he should have just let Brand put that one away. Nice double pump. Doesn't want to pick up 2 fouls here so quickly. And
a push off on McLeod.
Good job by Sheppard to recognize. We'll see the pass on the inside. Good bounce pass. Brand goes up. He feels the pressure on the back, so he double clutches it, brings the ball down in front of his face.
Battier, a freshman from the Detroit area, comes in. How do you decipher which team has the best bench? Well, here we go. Carrawell first. And Duke has doubled up Kentucky here early.
Jim, you see Kentucky team that has not been turning the ball over, particularly Wayne Turner himself. Been sensational in NCAA tournament play, assist and turnover ratio.
And as he floats to the basket, Wojo commits the foul. Turner to the line for two. Wojo will likely go out of the game as William Avery, another Duke freshman, is about to come in. What I was just asking about the two benches here. Which one is better, or can you tell?
Well, I would have to say, Jim, that we're looking at two of the deepest benches in the country. I'd like to make a little connection here. The quality of the player on the bench for Kentucky this year compared to what Rick Pitino took to the national championship is not the same in terms of ability. I would say that Duke's bench probably has more ability, but it's younger. And in the case, and particularly in the case of Evans, when he comes into the ball game, you're talking about an experienced bench player. So, and the depth of a bench is really not that important if your first 6 or 7 players are healthy at this time of year.
14-9. Duke leads at the first break.
Real beating that particular day, and now they're back on their feet.
And Stanford will take on the winner of this game. Everything's back in action. Lights, camera, and action. And here's McLeod, too strong. Good rebound. Turner, who's celebrating a 22nd birthday today. Kicks it out. Edwards gives it up. Underneath, batted away by Battier, and Muhammad tipped twice. Out to Sheppard.
No foul on the play. Yes, there is finally a foul called on Carrawell. Well, University of Kentucky on that occasion, Jim, they just had too many good jumping bodies in there. Nazi Muhammad had perfect position. Sheppard, the 7-foot high jumper in high school with great elevation ability. This kid is some athlete.
Kentucky's starting 5 remains on the floor. Duke with 2 subs. We saw Battier, and then William Avery entered, and he came in not for Wojo, but for Trajan Langdon.
Makes this team on the floor right now, in my estimation, a little too small to play against Kentucky. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
Well, Kentucky certainly had enough second chances on that last
That's right. You're talking about Sheppard, who's a leaper.
Wojo, 3, not this time, out to Sheppard.
This is a good matchup right now for Kentucky, in my opinion.
Sheppard lost it on the drive. Here comes Avery. 2 on 3, so the freshman waits. McLeod kicks it out. Wojo's 1 of 2 from here. 2 of 3 from behind the arc.
There's the gutty little general of this basketball team looking for his shot tonight, unlike what he's been doing throughout his career, where he's pass first, shoot second. Back screen that time by Sheppard, trying to get Padgett for the lob. One of Kentucky's favorite offensive maneuvers.
Sheppard over Battier, and he got a piece of the arm. He'll shoot 3.
Battier, the tremendous freshman defender. One of the best I've seen come into college basketball in a long, long time. You think of great defenders, of course, Duke has had the National Defensive Player of the Year a number of times. The first one was Tommy Amaker that they had. Of course, you remember Billy King.
Billy King followed him.
And a guy who wasn't bad by the name of Grant Hill was a pretty fair defender.
Talking about Battier's defense, he drew 26 charges this year. No one else on the Duke team was in double figures in that category. Now Langdon, the starter, comes in for Wojo, and another freshman, Chris Burgess.
And Jim, what that points out is how well he has been instructed by his high school coaches, particularly to move his feet defensively instead of reaching with his hands. Normally a guy who draws charges is a guard, not a 6'9" freshman forward.
William Avery's had a fine tournament. Driving on Sheppard, out to Carrawell. Avery's had 17 assists, only 5 turnovers, and he fires the 3.
Kentucky controlling the boards with this lineup on the floor here. Duke gets 1 and done.
And Burgess reached around, no doubt about that one.
There's a foul of inexperience there. He's got no position on Nazi Muhammad. He's behind him. The ball's in the low post. He might as well let him have it and then look for some help.
Here's the man you like, Hashimu Evans, transfer from Manhattan College, played in the tournament for Manhattan 3 years ago.
Jim, why I like him is he comes in and he makes things happen. I think he really is an explosive player off the bench. The great Frank Ramsey, All-American Kentucky, became the great first sixth man for the Boston Celtics. That's what Evans gives to this club.
Now look at Turner.
He looks like he's hurting a little. Terrific drive here on the outside. One of the real good floating shots. He's too quick for Battier out in that position.
Battier commits his second, and as Turner slams into the standard, the scoreboard's jarred loose again also.
You know, let me put Turner in perspective if you're scouting Kentucky. The first 2 years he plays for Kentucky, the first year he is 1 for 4 from 3. The second year he's 4 for 15 from 3. That's 5 3-point shots he makes in 2 years. What does that tell you? He's going to put the ball on the floor and try to penetrate to the basket. Turner
will have a chance to complete the three-point play. Lights are out again. Duke leads by 2.
So each year you got a chance to move up in the number of wins. That's not to take anything away, obviously, from Mike, but certainly not Coach Wooden and Coach Smith.
Turner, three-point play makes it a 1-point Duke lead.
Allows them to get in the press. So far, Duke has been patient enough to have different guys bring the ball up the floor, spread things out, and not throw over the press.
Mike Chappelle, number 20, in for Duke. Cloud, they gave it to him, so he took it. Stoppage in play here because of the clock malfunctioning. Do you think that broke any of the rhythm here early?
Well, I think that Duke was on a nice roll when it stopped the first time, and that may have cost them a little bit. But I think these two teams are so well coached, so fluid, that it's not going to be that effective. And there's Evans, my man off the bench.
And speaking of fluid,
he's got so much experience as a player.
Freshman year at Manhattan, he was the Metro Atlantic Rookie of the Year.
And then all-conference the next year. And then sat out a year with a great Kentucky team to practice against. So we're talking about a very much of a seasoned veteran.
Rejection
by McGlure.
Right off the bench.
It's his 7th of the regional so far.
6 against the Bruins on Friday night.
McGlure setting some big screens outside. And obviously Brand will not go follow him out there because he knows he's not going to shoot on a little pick and roll.
Sheppard. And they take it away. They call him for a charge.
Well, that, in my estimation, was a makeup for what happened down on the other end of the floor. Sheppard elevates in the air. I told you he's an excellent leaper. He goes up in the air. To me, there is no charge in that play at all.
Looked like McLeod may have left his feet just a little bit, too.
Absolutely. But I think there was a foul on the other end of the floor, and that was just one of those makeups.
19-18 Duke. McLeod back it in. Got rejected last time. Comes back and try it again.
McLeod, though, getting his shot over the top of Evans better than he did when he tried to get his shot over Padgett.
Cameron Mills in for Kentucky, 21.
Notice how Duke is trying to force Kentucky to the baseline.
Turner lands back in his arms, but knocks it out of bounds. Duke ball.
The object there, force to the baseline and then get your weak side help and use the baseline to be another defender on your team. Something that years ago would have been considered a mortal sin to allow your man to go baseline. Dean Smith, again, one of his great innovations, is something that he really made popular. A lot of coaches have copied it over the years. Good decision by Trajan Langdon not to take a shot that wasn't there.
Takes this one, though, and Langdon 2 of 3 today.
When you're not shooting well, Jim, the key is to have better shot selection. That was a very smart move by Trajan Langdon. Of course, an outstanding student of not only the academics at Duke, but of basketball as well. So, very good decision.
Hold outside, called on Langdon. Edwards for Sheppard. And Cameron Mills, who has only scored on 2 free throws in the NCAA tournament. 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. And he'll shoot one more. Billy, you look at this Kentucky team. Which player do you think had the highest output in any one game this season?
Yeah, it's really interesting. And the man on the foul line here, Cameron Mills, 31 against Florida. And we know, as we pointed out before, this guy was the highest scorer Kentucky had going into last year's Final Four in the NCAA tournament. That's probably why Trajan Langdon was trying to fight over that screen. Kids watch TV, they've got pretty good memories. Duke has not gone inside to Brand, in my opinion, the way they ought to. He has been ignored. McGlory's doing a good job on him, but they've got to show an inside game.
Brand's only attempted 1 shot from the field, made it. Langdon got stuck. Wojo collects it, 7 on the shot clock. Out to McLeod, top of the key 3.
Beautiful. That's experience right there. McLeod realized that Wojo was in trouble. Wojo penetrates and kicks out. Jim, I thought that Elton Brand had 2 baskets. He got one right away, and then he had that little double clutcher inside.
2 free throws for Brand and 1 field goal.
There's another good screen by McGlory.
Edwards, way short, had a hand in his face. Chappell comes out. Carrawell returns.
Now, Jim, this is probably the first time this year that the Kentucky players had to look at a bench like theirs. You know, they're normally used like the other night against UCLA. UCLA basically playing with 4 experienced players and no place to go off that bench. Kentucky just feasted on it.
Langdon feels like he's got the hot hand tonight.
And that was from a good 5 feet beyond the line. He's got that beautiful follow through, but I think he's still fading a little bit to the left.
Right back, Padgett misfires. Here comes Duke, up 7. Wojo was looking ahead.
Kentucky's gotten away from trying. Well, that's a rush shot there. Not a good idea.
Carrawell, though, found the right spot for the rebound. To the line for 2.
And here's where Kentucky normally makes good runs on people, Jim, that are tired at this point. But you can see what the Duke bench is doing to them. They're coming in with just as fresh legs at this point in the game as Kentucky normally has.
Carrawell will shoot 2. Duke's bench this season is only outscored on 4 occasions. Missouri's bench outscored them. And then, oddly enough, Clemson, all 3 times they played, outscored the Duke bench.
But, you know, point something out here, and Wojo made a good comment in the newspaper. He said, I think, when I think of Kentucky and their bench, I think of Clemson and their bench. Because Clemson could come off there with physical players, with experience. Played a lot of minutes.
Shimu Evans back in for Kentucky. Mills out. Chris Carrawell's top 2 games of the season came in big games, the last 2 meetings against North Carolina. Gives Duke its biggest lead, 29-20.
And Duke gives Kentucky some of their own medicine with a little full court pressure.
Wojo dives for it, still Kentucky ball.
Padgett said Wojo kicked it, but he really didn't. The ball was dribbled right on Wojo's foot. And he will go on the floor to dive for a loose ball. His comment when they booed him in Lexington, he says, I don't mind it because when they boo me, it means they're not cheering for their team. Kid's got a lot of moxie.
A lot of floor burns. Travel.
Kentucky, Jim, has got to go inside to Nazr Mohammed. They're getting totally perimeter oriented here. He's a big target inside, and they should start looking for him.
Saul Smith comes in, the coach's son, freshman. Came around by McLeod. What a season he's enjoyed. The senior from Jersey City, all ACC.
Well, maybe he got used to playing against Kentucky, and I'll tell you why. One of his high school teammates is a guy named Roderick Rhodes. Ring a bell to you?
Roderick Rhodes, who started at Kentucky with big expectations, ended his career at Southern Cal. Now in the NBA. Travel again by the Wildcats.
Nazr getting a little frustrated from not touching the ball. He just needs to remain patient. McLeod sits down. Mike Krzyzewski really going ahead and opening the doors with this bench. He's got so much confidence in them.
No Duke turnovers over 11 minutes into the game.
Like the perfect game that Christian Laettner had against Kentucky, where he was 10 for 10 from the floor and 10 for 10 from the foul line.
Carrawell.
He can explode, can he?
And it led to a basket for a 13-point lead. 8 for Carrawell. Dumping it inside. Here's Muhammad, rejected by Battier. Wojo strips it loose. Timeout called by Battier.
In the consolation game, Texas Western played Kentucky for the championship that year. Rupp's Runts with Pat Riley and Louis Dampier, Larry Connolly.
Kentucky team that beat Duke in the national semifinals.
Kentucky goes a little zone here.
Langdon, 3, short.
Backed away on the shot again. And look at this, he gets it right back.
In the hands of Saul Smith. Somehow he just took his eye off of it.
The most dangerous player to block out is the guy that took the shot, because he's got the best idea of where the rebound is going to go. You've got to put a body on him.
Loose ball again. Well, Duke had it for a moment. Turner.
Battier again getting up there.
36-20 Duke.
Brand off and running there. Nazr Mohammed not able to keep up with him. And look at who's playing him. Evans down in this area of the zone.
Battier, baseline jumper, freshman on the board.
This is kind of amazing, Jim. These freshmen are playing like they've been around Duke University wearing that jersey for 5 years, not one.
Tubby Smith wants to calm things down. He calls it 20. They were there. Brand was there. Avery.
That's like one of those fisherman stories. The one that got away. Well, that particular case, there were 3 of them that got away.
17-point run. Can they stop it? McGlure does.
That's the answer for Kentucky. Good advice by Tubby Smith. They've got to get their interior game started here. A lot of time on the clock. They don't have to worry about it. We've seen incredible comebacks in this tournament.
Brand misses the short one.
That's the second foul on Brand, I believe. McGlure down. Looks like he's hurt.
Brand run into him.
I couldn't tell, Jim. There was a lot of clashing of bodies down there, and I'm not so sure it wasn't even Evans.
McLeod and Burgess for Duke. Return. Brand sits with Battier. So while McGlure goes to the bench, Muhammad will come back.
See the banging on inside. No, it was Brand. He hit him with the elbow. He had already hit the floor before Evans came down on him.
1-1 for Evans. Shimu Evans was really familiar with the Kentucky program. He's worked a couple of summer camps at Rupp Arena during some of Rick Pitino's summer camp. Worked as a counselor. So they ice McGlure, and Evans knocks down 2 free throws. It was 21-20 Duke at one time. Then they exploded in front 38-20. 4 unanswered back by Kentucky. Tell you, Brand will do that when you run into him. What a body he has for just a freshman. He got hit with an elbow in that case.
Yes, he did. And Jim, notice how Duke is taking on the press of Kentucky. Much different than what Utah did to Arizona yesterday. They're basically clearing out and letting one man beat the press with the dribble. Remember, Utah yesterday so effectively threw over the top of the press and then set up an attack down inside with their big men.
Had the open 3, and McLeod wide of the mark. Ahead to Sheppard. The trailer, Muhammad, no whistle, puts up the shot.
Tough break for Kentucky. They'd rather have somebody else to trailer on the break other than Muhammad.
Wojo and Muhammad wrestling on the floor.
There's that baseline again, forcing in baseline.
And a block called on Burgess.
But as we talked about, McGlure can come in off the bench to pick up some fouls to save Muhammad. Burgess is doing that right now for Mike Krzyzewski for Brand. You've got fouls to waste there. And Burgess, who's going to be an outstanding player really working hard for this Duke team. Gets in some valuable minutes.
That's his second. 2 on the freshman Burgess, 2 on Battier, and all SEC center Nazim Muhammad. 10 team fouls on Duke, so double bonus rest of the half.
You know, Nazi had a chance until Sheppard took over to be the first guy since '93 to lead Kentucky in both rebounding and scoring. But Kentucky this year can have their first time since back in the days of Beard having the leading scorer score under 14 points. Ralph Beard, the sensational backcourt player who Adolph Rupp considered the finest point guard that ever played in basketball, averaged just 12 points a game, and 48 is their leading scorer.
Golden anniversary of that 1948 championship team at Kentucky. So Muhammad with an air ball on the second attempt.
So far, Avery's been very patient, not looking for his shot. A little push, they're calling it awful close inside, aren't they, Jim? Evans can't believe it.
We hear now that McGlure has a cut under his eye and a mild case of double vision. He seems to be improving, and they think that he will return.
Well, it's really important that he return, because that means that Nazim Muhammad would have to play a lot more minutes than he's used to. He only averages 21 minutes a game.
The way Duke is contesting every pass, every shot, it probably looks like you're seeing double of Duke out there on the
double
floor
vision
right now. McLeod and Avery tips it out. He's falling down. The only play he had was to tip it out to Langdon. Let's see if it leads to points. Burgess misses the chippy and out to Turner.
Got to finish that shot inside. Good hit ahead, but again, Nazim Muhammad, not the kind of guy you want to be hitting on the break.
Edwards got set. Oh! And Evans. Muhammad put back.
Evans made it happen, Jim. Kept the ball alive.
38-26.
Nice solid comeback here by Kentucky. Didn't panic at all.
6 unanswered by Kentucky after a 17-point Duke run. McLeod to the line. Muhammad, will it be Muhammad or Edwards?
I think it's Edwards on the reach-in.
It is Edwards.
Just think about what this means for team spirit when in February a group of kids get together and say, hey, coach, we want to have a little meeting because we think that we would like to have one of our teammates named tri-captain. I mean, that's not the kind of thing that happens every day on every team, and McLeod, of course, was the man that was the recipient of that vote. So he joined
Langdon and Wojo.
Langdon and Wojo as a tri-captain.
February 23rd, they held that clandestine meeting and said McLeod needs to join us. So now 1 of 3 captains, 1 of 2 at the line. Elton Brand has returned to lineup. Carrawell also back in.
Nice backdoor cut.
Padgett converts with the left hand.
That was against McLeod, who fell asleep on the play.
Avery racing back. Brand stolen away by Mills. 2-on-1. Sheppard and Mills. Sheppard will take it. Slams it home.
Avery trying to do a little bit too much out there. Tremendous comeback by the Wildcats.
22nd timeout by Duke. Kentucky runs off 10 unanswered.
That team also, Jim, in 48, 5 of those players went on to make the Olympic team.
Whoa! Stolen by Turner.
Everything breaking down for Duke right now. Mike Krzyzewski needs Wojo back in the game.
Sheppard driving in, splits the defenders, and it's down to 6.
Tremendous comeback by Kentucky.
8 for Sheppard, 12 straight for Kentucky.
Avery's in too much of a hurry, Jim.
This is a charge? Yes, charge on Avery.
He's in too much of a hurry, and Coach K could not get the steady senior in there quick enough. And here's what experience sometimes will do, or the lack thereof.
That was a textbook charge drawn by Sheppard.
And see, Avery made up his mind, Jim, when he was 70 feet from the basket that he was going to take it in there. You cannot make those kind of decisions against a good basketball team.
Just 3 minutes, 20 seconds ago, Kentucky was down 18.
We didn't expect either one of these teams to quit, did we?
Didn't expect such large runs, though, you know, for either one of them to yield such huge streaks. This can get it to 4. Sheppard hits the side of the glass.
Well, the one thing that Kentucky does not have, McGlure gives them good defense, but it takes away that opportunity to go inside offensively. McGlure and Brand really fighting down in low. He just won't let Brand touch that ball.
Langdon, three-pointer. We get Carrawell, crash the offensive glass.
Oh, sensational play because he was going up against Sheppard. Sheppard very seldom is up against a guy that athletically can be his equal.
Carrawell has 10. Breaks a 4-minute dry spell by Duke. Sheppard again. Oh, is he starting to take over now?
Battier couldn't get there quick enough. Sheppard's exhausted right now. And Jim, not only exhausted, he's hurt a little bit. And remember, that ankle injury that he had before probably took a little bit of his conditioning away.
Top man today for Kentucky with 10.
He's stuck with Battier down inside. Wojo doesn't get him the ball. That's a foul.
They had 2 defending on Battier, and it's called on Sheppard.
Here's where I talked about the 5 fouls that McGlure can use. He's really doing a good job beating Brand to the basket down inside, putting the body, fighting over the top, using the swim stroke, anything he can to keep the ball away from him.
Put Battier on the line, 1-1. Battier out of Birmingham, Michigan. Shunned the path to the University of Michigan that was blazed by Chris Webber from the same high school, Country Day. Battier, one more. How about Michigan giving Ellerby the head coaching position? The only thing strange, why didn't they give it to him after he won the Big Ten tournament?
Now that that decision's over, I'm not going to fault anybody. I think that
the right one, wasn't it?
He handled himself with so much class throughout the course of the year. He really deserved the opportunity.
Yeah, congratulations to Brian Ellerby. 42-34 Duke. George Felton.
George Felton is sitting right next to him now as the assistant.
The Wildcats trail by 8. Had been down by as many as 18.
Good screening by Kentucky, and there's a walk.
A rare miscue by Turner.
Well, let me tell you what happened here, Jim. Turner had the great screen set up by Padgett, but he would rather drive than shoot. So consequently, he just got off track there and created the walk. It's almost better not to screen for him because he's not going to take the jump shot. And he can create his own shot off the dribble so well.
Wojo calls out play number 5.
Turner looking for the steal right now, sitting down pretty low on that dribble. Duke trying to get the ball down inside, but Kentucky doing a great job defensively.
8 on the shot clock. Battier drives on McGlure. Wow, and 1.
Jim, that was a sensational play. I talk about how intelligent this kid plays basketball. He's in the low post fighting for position. McGlure has him outmatched in the low post. So he steps out, turns and faces on McGlure, puts the ball on the floor, which gives him the advantage, and takes it to the hole. Some play.
Right over McGlure and Padgett. Out to Mills. Duke back in front by double digits.
Battier is coming off a 6 for 7, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 3 block game against Syracuse. Off the bench. It's kind of starter you want on the bench, huh?
He started a large part of the year to Battier. That was the night of the freshman on Friday night.
Look at this open offense by Kentucky. A lot of screens inside.
Evans just surrounded by that Duke defense. Padgett has the 3 at the top of the key. Don't leave him open.
Yeah, Battier was late getting out. Scott Padgett did a real smart thing there, too. He went beyond the defense to set up his jump shot.
Final minute of the first half.
Notice the difference when Wojo came back in the game and settled things down for Duke. Avery was just out of control. Put them back in a half-court set.
Reach in on Mills. Stanford advancing to the Final Four, down with 8:40 to go in the game, 11.
Well, Jim, I hadn't seen in-person Stanford last year at all until we got them in the NCAA tournament. We saw what a great job Mike Montgomery did in regard to strategy against Tim Duncan, surrounding Duncan with the big, strong people. Everybody wondered what would happen when Knight would leave there. Could they get enough play in the backcourt to go ahead and complement the great inside presence they had? Obviously, they have.
Chappell in for Duke.
And after yesterday's debacle for the Pac-10, you wondered there for a few minutes, at least as Rhode Island was coming down the wire, that they'd get shut out.
Pac-10 back in the Final Four, though. 30 seconds on the shot clock. About an 8-second differential here for Kentucky.
Trajan Langdon a little quicker than Mills. Chappell out there and Padgett. He's got to be aware of that jump shot on the pick and roll.
Evans leans in, blocked by Carroll. Got it back. Carroll blocked it, but Evans so quick to the spot. Carroll with 10 seconds to go in the half. Driving baseline, dishes it out. Chappell, 3. Score it with 4 seconds to go in the half.
What a huge play for Duke.
Midcourt shot. Turner looked like it was online.
That was a smart play by Carroll. Took it right to the hoop and saw the open man.
Mike Chappell's 3 gives Duke the 10-point lead. Coming up at the half, Pennzoil at the half. Greg Clark and Coach Smith will be joined by Rick Majerus, who's taking Utah to the Final Four. 49-39, Blue Devils at halftime, and CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship will continue after this message. That's significant because the last 10 Kentucky opponents had not shot better than 39% in any game.
Well, Kentucky had a 17-0 run, a 12-0 run. That's not their best in the NCAA tournament. They remember that 19-0 run they had against St. Louis. They start off quickly and get into their press.
Duke with the 17-point run. Kentucky came back with the 12, countered.
It's amazing teams of this quality, Jim, to get those kind of runs against each other, isn't it?
Wouldn't expect from these two.
No.
Edwards already with 1 basket to start the second half.
See if Kentucky gets the ball inside here early to Nazr Mohammed. He likes to seal his man as the ball's rotated. There it is.
Padgett, 3, short. And there you go again. Shooter not boxed out. Kentucky ball.
It's happened to McLeod a number of times here tonight.
What do you look for here in the second half, Billy?
Well, I look for the two teams to settle down to see which one can get an inside game going first.
Just a little too much for Padgett to bring down.
Brand's really hustling down the court, trying to get in position before Nazr Mohammed can get there to defend him.
Carroll
didn't have the ball in his hands.
McLeod will give him a second chance. Surrounded by 3, he dribbles away for the basket.
How often we see guys use the rim to ward off the defenders. That's what McLeod did that time. Nice play.
Turner has it stripped out of his hands.
As Duke with only 3 turnovers in the first half against that tough Kentucky defense.
Went the first 12 minutes without committing 1.
Trajan Langdon can't get over the top against Sheppard. Kind of hurt Kentucky when Sheppard got winded and somewhat banged up there in the first half. They needed his offensive presence.
Langdon, top scorer in the game for Duke, commits his second. Padgett spinning, gives it up to Mohammed. Last-minute decision, last split-second decision.
How about those hands by Nazr Mohammed, plus the concentration not to turn his back and go for the rebound.
Avery driving in. Battier +1. Freshman to freshman.
Kind of amazing, isn't it, to see? Look at this, a great play by Nazr Mohammed. Look at all the Duke players had their heads turned, assuming it would be a shot.
Heck of a play by Padgett, too. But watch Avery give it to Battier at the last minute.
And Battier takes it right on in over Nazr Mohammed.
3-point play. Battier with 9 off the bench. Duke by 11. Edwards wanted it, got it.
Well, you're going to call the basket anyway. You thought that Brand got a piece of it. Oh, there's the steal from behind. Very seldom do you get away with that play.
Turner doesn't get the roll, and Battier was back to get the board.
Duke not wanting to force anything right here. Avery back in. Kind of interesting. You know, Wojo hurt his elbow on that last play. Very seldom see a man steal from behind.
Battier inside the line. All air. Just a little net. Not the kind you want.
Well, he was turning away from his normal shooting position, Jim. A lot of times, unless you're just one great shooter, that's a hard shot to make. You just don't have your normal rotation and power when you're turning counterclockwise. Interesting that Avery be put in this game so early after what happened to him in the first half, where he was a little bit too frenetic. Backdoor cut.
Another foul on Duke.
That's Brand. Is that his third?
Number 3 on Elton Brand.
And he picked that one up trying to cover for the backdoor cut. Padgett's run that very well tonight.
Doesn't take long to replace him. McLeod for Brand.
I think advantage Kentucky right here. They ought to, at this point in time, Jim, 54-45. Remember that foul because Nazr Mohammed now should start to operate. He's played by Battier.
Padgett. Tipped by Mohammed, and Duke surrounds it.
Now a matchup down on the other end is probably going to put Nazr Mohammed on Battier. Padgett stays with McLeod. Boy, these teams match up so perfectly. Even when they go to the bench, they've got guys that can match up with. Turner is Avery's equal when he puts the ball on the floor.
Carrawell guarded by Edwards. And McLeod wants to take it on Padgett.
That's going to be a hand check by Padgett. Went for the fake.
Number 2.
Kentucky personal, number 34, Scott Padgett is second to team's second.
Scott Padgett desiring that championship ring. He had to sit out the '96 season. Did not participate on that championship team.
Well, Jim, but he shows a lot of character. He sits out because of academic deficiencies. Not only learns his lesson basketball-wise, but comes back down and he's all-SEC academic player.
Avery with the jump shot. His first 2 of the game.
Shows you the confidence Mike Krzyzewski has in these freshmen. Puts Avery right back in the game where he really had problems in the first half. Not where Nazr Mohammed wants to be offensively against Battier. Almost turns it over.
Now wants to help with a pick. Sheppard to Mohammed. No whistle. Now there's one.
And that's a push foul by Kentucky. Tough break for Tubby Smith's team.
They thought they were going to get maybe a call on the Mohammed shot.
Tough break for Kentucky. Moore comes back in, and so Duke really gets a break here. I thought while the time that Brand was out, Nazr Mohammed may be able to operate. Might have been called a charge, Jim. That one wasn't called either.
Boy, Battier goes for him too, doesn't he?
He does. He knows how to set his feet and take that charge.
It was the 3rd foul on Edwards. Wojo is back in after a brief absence. Avery back-to-back baskets.
Impossible shot. He just took Sheppard on that play. He's some explosive scorer, isn't he? Came off the bench at 21 against Arizona and Maui. That ought to tell us a little something.
One of his first college games. Carrawell, way short on the 3. McGlure had a hand in his face. Certainly altered the shot. Edwards takes middle, reach in, foul's going to be called on Wojo.
Jim, that shows you when you take a bad shot, it throws your whole team out of sync. Here we see the shot by Avery going in on Sheppard, goes underneath him and still gets the roll.
Duke freshmen have 17 points all total in this game today. We'll be right back.
Rick Roby, Jack Gibbons, fine basketball team.
Saw Smith in for Kentucky.
He's looking. Wojo's screaming to the referee. 5 seconds. Doesn't get the call. Always on top of it.
Sheppard 3.
Probably not a good shot. Battier on him.
Battier running the floor, but no lane there, no avenue. Langdon steps in.
Again, a reach-in foul. Boy, they're calling some reach-touch fouls here.
Padgett.
Again, give Trajan Langdon a lot of credit for using his head there on that play. He realized as the ball was rotated that McGlure got stuck with him. So instead of trying to shoot over him right here, he puts the ball on the floor and goes right by him. You've got to take what the defense gives you.
He'll shoot 2. Langdon went over 1,000 for his career point total this season, along with Ricky Price, which gave Duke 44 all-time. And Kentucky matches that figure, 44 all-time 1,000-point scores.
Trajan Langdon last year set a new school record at Duke, making 89.7% of his free throws. This year, right back on schedule. Not quite that, but close. Was over 90% at some points this season.
Had one stretch where he made 29 in a row. Okay, Kentucky's missed its last 5 shots. And McGlure can't find the handle. Those suspect hands cost him. And look at Wojo. He's tangled here.
What is he doing here? What is McGlure doing?
Wojo is hurt.
Well, McGlure wouldn't let him go. That was crazy. Wojo trying to straighten out his back here.
Stretch it out.
Yeah, I don't know why McGlure just didn't relax, and he had him twisted up inside. Now here you see, Padgett didn't want to throw that ball in there, Jim, because he knows McGlure doesn't have good hands or the move that he's going to make. Now see, he has him right here. All he has to do is relax and let him alone. It's ridiculous. And now
Wojo slaps his hands. He says, hey, can't keep me down for long.
No, he is a tough one. He's a tough one. Son of a, you know, we talk about sons of coaches supposed to understand the game. If you're a son of a longshoreman, what are you supposed to do there? Are you supposed to be tough or not?
You can know you're going to be tough.
I guarantee you. Good hit ahead.
Pass almost got away. Saved by Carrawell in the corner. McLeod 3. McLeod, he's struggling from the field.
Well, he's taken bad shots, Jim. He didn't need to take that shot.
McLeod 4 of 12.
When you have a lead like this, you can get much better shots.
Evans drills a 3.
That's what that bad shot does to you. You take it, the other team comes down and scores. You've got nobody in position to rebound. Kentucky's going to a zone here. Langdon, the rebound and put back. Tough shot for a guard to make, 12 feet, moving in.
You said he had to step up today after a horrible NCAA tournament, and Langdon's done that.
I loved his comments, though. He said, you know, shooting is one part of the game. The other parts of my game I can come through with. And now Sheppard hits 2 straight threes for Kentucky.
61-51 Duke.
Kentucky in the zone now. Now here's where McLeod can become dangerous. They really have 4 guys against this zone that can all shoot threes. Avery, Carrawell, McLeod, and Trajan Langdon. It's a pretty good team against the zone.
Which way is this going?
That's going to be
on Smith.
On Smith. Dangerous move to play zone with those 4 guys on the floor.
Brand back in. Chappelle also for Duke.
Chappelle will hit that big 3-pointer from the corner to end the half. Let's see if Kentucky stays in the 2-3 zone.
And Wojo marks his return.
Solid minutes in the second half by Avery when he had that rocky first half. They stay in the zone.
Langdon from the wing. 3 off the front of the rim. Tip back out to him, though.
Chappelle, 6'8". Well, they've really extended the zone out. There ought to be somebody in the foul line here.
To the corner. McLeod over everything.
Well, just when I said they've got a good team to hit against this.
Floor up ahead. Boy, that was a good catch, but he traveled.
Tough break there. Great hands by McGlure, considering he's a guy we've been staying on about not having the good hands. He caught that one on the run.
That was a tough catch.
It sure was. Ball was thrown high by Evans. McGlure makes a tremendous catch here, but just can't finish.
Wojo to the middle, pulls it out. Chappelle 3, just as he did to close the first half.
There's that dribble, drive, and kick out. The type of basketball made famous by the Europeans. Americans, in one case, even though it's our game.
Best move of the night for McLeod, and it's stripped away.
What do you think, Jim? Looked like a charge to me.
Yeah,
McGlure got over there.
Only the 5th Duke turnover. Devils by 13. Well, think about how key that call was. If it goes the other way, McLeod's going to the line, possibly putting Duke up 16.
I'm not questioning the call. I'm questioning the fact an official doesn't need to have that kind of conversation with a coach.
Sheppard blocked by Brand. But that's why Mike was upset. He realized that could have been a huge point.
Well, Mike's got an able staff over there, so while he was looking and bearing down with that referee, he had 3 guys that have all been to the Final Four talking to his team.
Hey, while Brand was out of action, Duke increased its lead, and now they add to it again. A 3 by Wojo.
And he looks over at Mike Krzyzewski and gives him the signal.
Turner trying to answer it back.
And again, Duke not blocking out the shooter, and it costs him again.
Well, the Pizza Hut All-Stars here, academic All-Stars. The salutes to Kentucky's Jeff Sheppard, majoring in math education, and Trajan Langdon from Duke, who has a 3.2 GPA, majoring also in mathematics.
Jim, kind of interesting, you mentioned Trajan Langdon, the Alaskan, and he said, you know, I've never been behind a dog sled. This man on the foul line, Wayne Turner, goes up to play in the Alaskan shootout, decides he's going to try the dog sled routine, gets lost in the snow.
Yeah.
So he should have talked to Duke's academic Alaskan native and said, hey, you know what? You just don't get behind that dog sled.
1 of 2 for Turner.
Wojo with the head up, looking to make that pass. He thought he had Langdon on the wing.
Hey, when Brand went out, they were up 9. When they returned, they were up 13. McLeod,
it goes.
Yep, this time the call the other way.
Kentucky really getting spread out defensively now. They went to the zone, it wasn't effective. They go back to man and didn't match up well. Quite a move by McLeod, shifted that ball in the air. Young man, the first transfer. Will he be the last transfer that Duke ever had? He was recruited by Mike Krzyzewski out of St. Anthony's, as everybody knows, went to St. John's, but he is their first transfer.
Wanted to go to Duke until Duke gave a scholarship to Joey Beard, same position. Then once Beard transferred, well, McLeod was ready to leave St. John's, so he ended up at Duke anyway.
And you know what? Beard had a fine career when he went to Boston U, so it worked out good for both kids.
Duke by 17.
Evans want to post up down inside.
Sheppard, tough shot, got it.
Real leaner. One of the things that Duke has caused problems for Kentucky, it's amazing they've got so many guys that can bring the ball up the floor. Carrawell showing his ability. Trajan Langdon has that ability. Trajan really doing a good job tonight, taking good shots.
Inside and clear hold and Hack.
Well, he had to foul. Now
Stanford going on to the Final Four with its win over Rhode Island. Stanford almost landed Trajan Langdon out of high school. It was down to Stanford or Duke for Trajan. His father one time was a professor at Stanford.
And has a degree from there.
They called that now.
Well,
intentional.
Yes, an intentional foul to shoot 2. And the ball, Jim. And what Evans was saying is he thought that he got him before he was in the act of shooting, but he didn't realize by wrapping his arm around him, it was worse than getting him in the act of shooting.
Number 13 now to Muhammad, replacing 24, Scott Padgett.
Brand. We'll see the play right here. Evans, see, when he grabbed him from around from behind, you got to call that an intentional foul. He was not playing the ball in any way, shape, or form. Brand from outstanding freshman player who would have certainly made all freshman team in the ACC, but he was out with that foot injury for 15 games.
Carrawell, short.
Battier, look at those hands.
Saves it for Duke.
And again, another good decision by Trajan Langdon. Now the clock becomes real important not to take any bad shots if you're different.
We're midway through the second half. Carrawell. And out to Evans. No. Langdon tips it to Wojciechowski.
And Wojo is going to say just that. Let's get better shots.
Evans on Wojo.
Boy, is he aggressive, huh? He thinks he can guard the little guy.
Shuts him off, cuts him off. Langdon. Carrawell put back.
Boy, what a big game this man has had.
Well for Carrawell. Evans, 3, his second of the game.
Turner answers with a good dribble penetration and kick out.
Made only 14 threes on the season. Evans, he's knocked down 2 tonight.
Doesn't look comfortable on the shot. He just wills them in there, doesn't he, Jim?
Both of them.
Yep. And Tubby Smith wisely got out of that zone defense. Thinks he's matching up pretty good right now, what he's got on the floor.
Under 9 to play.
Tried to split it out for Brand inside. Good block.
Stripped away by Kentucky. Back is Langdon. And Edwards out of the pack. Snaps it over to Turner.
Here's where Turner's dangerous.
To the corner. Padgett 3. They need it. They got it.
Turner, good job.
71-60. It was 17 just a moment ago. Back-to-back threes. Evans and Padgett.
Turner made that play. He is so dangerous in the open court.
Carrawell, he's been the big man, but not this time.
Evans will fight him for the ball.
Can get it under 10.
Here comes Turner again.
Edwards was planted on the wing. Turner.
I love him in the open court.
And he's going to the line.
Jimmy, he can take that ball 60, 70 feet as well as anybody in college basketball because he's able to finish when he gets down inside, even against the trees. Watch this crossover dribble. No way Wojo's going to stay with him. Terrific job by Kentucky.
Third foul on Wojo, and Turner can trim it to 8.
Jim, coming into this year, for the 2 years, Turner has shot 56% free throws. That's one of the things you don't want your point guard to do, be a poor free throw shooter.
The answers this time, though. 9 points unanswered by Kentucky. Get back into it.
And one of the things Mike Krzyzewski wanted was to go inside some. And Nazr Mohammed cut off Brand, never got anything going inside.
McLeod kicks it back out, back into McLeod, turn around.
That's his shot, couldn't get it.
Tipped by Evans. Duke ball.
Timeout. Boy, guys just giving everything now. Evans goes over the top of press row. What's the biggest run we've had in the second half?
This Kentucky run right here of 9.
9. Kind of interesting. Kentucky comes back out in the zone.
Avery fighting that zone.
Duck under pass.
McLeod able to get it back.
Has to call the timeout with the double team on the end line.
Stuck in the corner. It's a 20-second timeout. These two almost tangled at the start of the year over in Maui. They both were there in the Maui Classes. Classic. Yep.
Arizona got in the way.
They didn't meet because Kentucky lost to Arizona, then Duke beat the Cats the next day in the final. Here they are again, trying to see who will land the last spot for the Alamo Dome.
And Jim, with Brand on the bench, Kentucky goes back. They went into the zone. Now let's see if Tubby on that timeout changes his defense, goes back to his man.
Tough pass. Sheppard Well, he'll get called
break
for that. Reach in.
He was just off balance there. Kentucky had Duke in trouble.
Third on Sheppard. 1-1 coming for Wojo.
Number 12, Stephen Husky. At the line, shooting the long hand of the bonus.
From Severna Park, Maryland. Senior, 1-1. Parents are here.
Substitution number 31, Shane Battier, in the lineup, replacing number 23,
Maryland High School
Carwell.
Player of the Year. He's come a long way from then.
Peggy and Ed pleading for one more. Doesn't fall.
7 minutes and some change to go. And free throws become very important here.
Edwards steps out for the three. 4 straight trips, getting 3 points.
That was the same play that Duke used in the first half to get McLeod open. The Kentucky press now has 5 men on one half of the court, Jim. Duke's going to have to go long, or they're going to find themselves turning that ball over.
And from behind, Turner collapsed on Wojciechowski. He'll go back for another 1-on-1 situation. They've had 3 3-point baskets and a 3-point play by Turner on their last 4 trips.
What Turner's doing, he's taking people inside. Remember the play in the first half where McLeod stepped out? It's exactly the same play Kentucky ran there. Dribble penetration, then curl out over the screen and hit that 3.
Wojo, fresh off of 1 of 2 performance at the line.
Long.
And Sheppard out-battles Battier for the rebound. Ahead to Evans. Oh, Sheppard just took one in the jaw from McLeod.
Trying to fight through the screen. You can really feel this momentum swinging.
That, for McLeod, is his 4th. 7th team foul on Duke, so Sheppard will shoot a 1-and-1.
No,
Wait a minute.
Jim,
Yeah, that's what, Billy, that was really a vicious blow.
Yep. You're going to see, and the ball here.
Watch the right side of your screen, fighting through. There it is.
And Sheppard gets a chance for 2, and the ball for Kentucky.
(72-68), Duke.
Intentional. And now a timeout for Duke. Mike Krzyzewski trying to get the crowd out of this ball game and his team back into it.
So they call it an intentional foul on McLeod. Kentucky ball. Just under 7 minutes to go. All right, Kentucky with possession. That was intentional. They call that foul. Inside, and Evans has to chase it out.
That's a dangerous play coming out 4 down. You just want to get the ball inbounds. As efficient as Kentucky has been in recent possessions, you don't want to try to go for a home run here.
Turner hits the roll. That's a 4-point trip for Kentucky. And they're within now 2.
This probably reminds Duke of the runs Arizona made against them in Maui and the runs that North Carolina successfully has made against them.
Tough shot, Langdon, and Evans with the rebound.
2 players down, 1 for Kentucky, 1 for Duke.
2 to tie, 3 for the lead.
Evans wants that ball inside. Boy, it's been Evans' energy that's really sparked it. And Wayne Turner forcing that ball down inside.
Sheppard cutting through.
Foul.
He'll go to the line to tie the game if he makes them both. Turner, when he penetrates, has such a soft touch.
He really does, Jim. From 12 feet on in, he just has that ability to glide. You've got to make him shoot the ball outside because he can drive and finish.
Within 1. Will you take that last trip where they had the intentional? Look at Kentucky's last 5 possessions. 3, 3, 3, 3, 4. That's how they got back into it in 3 minutes.
There's a man who is looking on.
Oh, rattles out. That would have tied it.
A little nervous. Has never lost the ball game in a regional final. Mike Krzyzewski 7 for 7. And he's concerned now, as his entire bench is. He double dribbled. Give Edwards a lot of credit. He faked it, Wojo. Wojo looked to pass and picked it up and then put it back down.
It was 71-54 Duke with 9:30 to go in the game.
Good crossover dribble by Turner.
Turner, not this time. The roll doesn't work his way.
Right now, what Duke needs, Jim, and this sounds crazy, they need a 3.
McLeod.
He almost walked.
He did walk. No call. Out to Avery. Padgett tips it away. And tie up Kentucky ball.
No, it's going to be Duke ball. It's Duke ball. And what happened? McLeod came over.
Out first.
Avery had possession. McLeod came over and got the time. And what Tubby is concerned about is said, hey, my guys had their hands on the ball too. Why isn't it a held ball?
And if they called the held ball, the arrow belonged to Kentucky.
Right, you see it right here. It's Avery's ball at this point.
I'll tell you what, that was Duke's last timeout. We'll be right back. Donna Smith looks on. Kentucky trails by 1.
This is a key shot here for Duke.
Blocked by Padgett. They call the block, however, on Allen Edwards.
And Duke has not been shooting free throws well. Battier goes to the line.
In this half, Duke 3 of 9 from the line.
72% free throw shooter goes to the line. Jim, the efficiency that you pointed out in regard to Kentucky coming down the court to score with those threes and then that 4-point play, it's amazing.
One more for Battier. 4 fouls on the senior Edwards.
And he's going to sit down. Tubby Smith really orchestrating this game nicely here. Wants to save him for that last 3 minutes.
Brings in another senior, Cameron Mills. Duke in front by 3.
And picking up. I think Wojo slaps the floor here for some defensive intensity. He's got his hands full with Turner.
Turner drives on him, puts it up, and wow.
He is amazing with
3
that
circles of that rim, it looked like. 74-73 Duke. Battier had position. Padgett almost got to the spot. Tipped up and in by McLeod. Kentucky wanted basket interference.
Well, they probably should have had it. That ball was on the rim, and there goes Turner again, taking Wojo.
Not this time. Tipped over by Sheppard into the arms of Wojo.
Oh, I can't believe the shot, Jim.
Open 3, Battier with the putback, missed the chippy, and Turner comes out.
Surprised Wojo took that jumper.
This could tie it. Crashing the boards,
and a foul
against Kentucky.
You'll see Turner with his crossover dribble, then he just explodes on Wojo at the end. Shoots that ball on the way up, much like Antoine Jamison. Now you see Battier going in with a good power move, and then McLeod comes over the top, not being blocked out for the putback. Evans can't believe it, laying on the floor.
Double bonus the rest of the way. Kentucky over the limit, so 2 for McLeod. He's 0 for 3 from the line today.
Good follow through on the shot. The 2 big men for Kentucky on that bench. Tubby Smith liking the matchup and the quickness he has on the offensive end of the floor. Long.
1 of 2. Sheppard skies for the board. Kentucky had it down to 1. Now down 4. 4:10 remaining.
Sheppard looking to step out, wanting to screen for his jump shot.
Evans tips. Evans got it.
Battier had to help out.
77-75 Duke.
Boy, that Evans brings a lot when he comes off that bench, doesn't he?
Having a huge game. Great intensity. Out high on McLeod. And Avery, the freshman now, at the point for Duke. Gives it up Langdon. Waits for Sheppard to jump by and banks it home.
Nice, smart play. Got Cameron Mills in the air. I think that's a matchup that Duke can take advantage of.
Evans got position.
No place to go down in there.
And Duke picks up the loose ball with Avery.
As opposed to the first half, Avery brings that ball back out. Now here's a matchup. Avery can take Mills. He's a lot quicker. I think they should get the ball in Avery's hands out front. He can beat Mills off the dribble.
Then on the shot clock, Langdon
on
the run, right in the arms of Evans.
Bad possession by Duke University there.
Turner wants to drive again, pull-up jumper, down to 2. Shades of Philadelphia coming on here in St. Petersburg.
The SEC Tournament's MVP putting on a show.
March 28th, 1992. These two in a classic. This is the first time they've met since. McLeod.
Shot again. Duke taking bad shots, Jim.
Kentucky can tie it with a 2, take the lead with a 3.
Turner in that open court, just loving it. Scored 62 in a high school game. He must think he's back in Boston.
He's got the look like he's in total control. For the tie. Tipped out. Mills for the lead.
Oh! They've been waiting on it.
That's his first basket of the tournament. Cameron Mills.
On a tip out. And you know, here's where Mike Krzyzewski would like it to use a timeout, Jim, but he doesn't have one.
It's Kentucky's first lead of the game. In the paint, good pass. McLeod hacked by Sheppard. Tipped out to Cameron Mills.
Of all people, again, look, Jim, no block out by Duke players. Avery should have been out there on his man. And Mike Krzyzewski wondering when Tubby's going to call a timeout, and he's not going to do it.
That foul was on Sheppard, his 4th. 1:50 to go.
Kentucky substitutions, number 3, Alan Edwards, replacing 21, Cameron Mills. Nazi Muhammad replacing 34, Scott Padgett, and 23.
Jim, we may see some substitutions now by Tubby Smith, offense and defense.
Coming up after this regional finals, 60 minutes. McLeod, one more to regain the lead. 81-80 Duke. Carrawell in for the shooter.
Both coaches are now going to substitute, trying to get on the floor in a half-court set. Their best defenders that go against offensive people. Now Avery's going to try Turner for a while. Got more quickness than Wojo.
Avery tipped it away for a moment. Padgett has Brand out way away from the basket. He'll drive on the freshman.
Left-handed.
Got it back. Padgett out to Edwards. And Evans again. Blocked by Brand.
Nobody can get the ball. And that should be a foul on Wojo.
And Wojo called for it indeed. His 4th. It'll be a 1-and-1.
Kentucky sending 5 men to the boards, Jim. So consequently, Duke finds themselves pushed under the basket in a rebound situation. You can see how far under the basket the Duke players are. You see that Kentucky in a situation got them actually out of rebounding position because they're too far under the basket.
Wojo with 4. Sheppard on the other side with 4. And the one player in the Kentucky starting lineup who yesterday said he remembered the 92 game in Philadelphia, Scott Padgett, 1-and-1. Said he cried when Leitner hit the shot in Philadelphia in 92. Ties it. Kentucky native, Scott Padgett from Louisville. One more for the lead. All tied at 81.
Kind of pulled his hands back on that shot, Jim.
Turner Wojo had a chance to get way past him. But
yeah, but see, Wojo can't finish off when he gets inside as Turner can.
A minute to go. Another Duke Kentucky Classic. Avery in the lane.
Boy, Duke is really taking some bad shots here. It's all one-on-one basketball.
And not the player you want taking the shot.
And Mike Krzyzewski, again, with no timeouts, can't reunite his team.
Three-pointer.
Huge.
Kentucky 84-81.
And again, with no timeouts, Tubby Smith doing a great job here, not calling any timeouts himself. He won't let Mike Krzyzewski get reorganized.
25 seconds. 4-second differential.
There's McLeod open. They don't get him the ball.
McLeod to tie it. Too much. Rebound Turner.
And
Here
a foul.
comes Kentucky. Double bonus to the rest of the way. In 1992, Kentucky was led to the regional final by 4 homegrown kids. This was the play at the end. The shot maybe what some would argue the most famous shot in college basketball history. Leitner's turnaround to win it 104-103. The 4 Kentuckians called the Unforgettables. They hanged a banner. They hung a banner for them at Rupp Arena for Feldhouse and Woods, Farmer and Pelfrey. And Turner now with one more, try to get that critical two-possession advantage.
Exactly, Jim. This free throw puts it into 2 possessions with 16 seconds. A miss here allows Duke, a good three-point shooting team, to tie.
Gives it a 4-point lead. Don't you know the Unforgettables are here vicariously through this 98 edition.
Wojo should take it all the way to the basket.
Tried to give it up to Brand. Good hands. Missed the short one. Tipped out. Duke ball. 8 seconds remaining. What a furious rally. It was 71-54 Duke with 9.5 to go. 31-10 since that time. McLeod, 3, got it. 6 seconds to go. It's down to 1.
They've got a foul right away.
Edwards will go to the line for 2 with 4.5 remaining.
Oh, how critical. People wonder why coaches save their timeouts. The man in our studio was one of the all-time masters at saving timeouts, Dean Smith. Mike Krzyzewski got in a situation with about 5 minutes to go. He had no timeouts left. Never could reunite his club. Here's McLeod with a huge 3.
Again, double bonus. He'll shoot 2. And Duke will have to go length of the court on Kentucky again. And a whistle.
Well, Mike Krzyzewski trying to do whatever he can to freeze the shooter a little bit. It's what Gary Williams did against North Carolina in the ACC semifinals.
Number 23, Chris Carrawell replacing Elton Brand.
Carrawell comes in for Duke. Edwards,
64% free throw shooter.
Not attempted one today. Shoot 2. Duke again out of timeouts.
Young man whose mother passed away during the season.
One more, and now Duke will try to repeat history.
Without a timeout, they can't set up a specific play.
Who will try to play the role of Lakeman? To have the inbounds pass, Kentucky calls the timeout, so Duke will have a chance to set something up. 2 to tie, 3 for the win.
There it is,
1992, will it be revisited? Avery crossed the midcourt stripe, puts it up. No, not this time. Kentucky's going to the Final Four.